and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games. This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks. Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula gider. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is skor, and that also means elephant. This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks. Ça, c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout Shogi en dernier temps.
Hello and welcome to Hyper Polyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages. And I would like to start out with some kind of big news. But first I have to start out with, I did not actually set up my...
Hi, I'm Kaname. In this video, I'm going to talk
yeah,
about...
no,
今、私の...
Hang on.
ジョンさんはなぜ日本に来たんですか?
There we go. Sorry about that.
In this video, I'm going...
Damn it, I was trying to look at the whole playlist, not one video on it, so that I could get this window set up, because I... There we go. This is not the big announcement. This is the setup that I just realized I had forgotten to do in advance of the big announcement, so... Hello, Ata, how you doing? Okay. God. Right. So, I'm just gonna drop this link in chat, but I have just been informed yesterday that my the book version of the translation I did, the first full-length English translation of Alexandra Kalantai's 1909 book, Social Basis of the Female Question, with an introduction, no, with a foreword, rather, by Jules Gleason and Fayoza Yuldasheva, has a release date. It will be coming out on the 13th of January. You can already pre-order it. And yeah, so that's a thing that I found out yesterday, and I've been waiting to tell you all about it, and I was not intending to do it in such an accidentally, like, comedic way, but there you go. So it's available in hardback, in paperback, and as an ebook. Unfortunately, not in time to, like, buy it for your Christmas list, but soon enough. Meanwhile, the current crowdfunded translation. Oh, first of all, I should note. Thank you. And you can still get the PDF version that I uploaded. That was my commitment to everybody who supported the project, and that is the deal that I worked out with Haymarket. They were very, very accommodating with this. I have to say, I've been very happy with them. The entire process. So that is still available freely to everyone on my Patreon. But if you want the book that also includes the foreword and other lovely things in it, then this is where you can get that. Meanwhile, one of the other parts of the deal that I worked out with Haymarket was that people who are supporters of the project, I have 35 complimentary copies to give out. Some of those are already spoken for, but if you would like, if you were a supporter of the Kalantai project and you would like to have a complimentary copy and you haven't already given me your address so that I can forward that on to Haymarket, just get in touch and I'll put you on the list. So yes, so that's the thing that happened. Also, I am on the last roughly $2,000 of the fundraising for the Inessa Armand translation project, and I've almost finished the last and longest of her essays. I just the other day uploaded chapter 2 of that essay. It is a history of women in the various internationals, the first, the second, and now the bit I'm translating is the third. So, and of course, all support for that project is, as always, greatly appreciated. You can find all this stuff over at my Patreon, which, no, that's the wrong Patreon. That's the Patreon. And if you want to make a one-off contribution to that project, you can do that. Here. But in any case, I just wanted to tell you all about that before we get started and play some Shogi. Oh, thank you, Ata. How you doing? As I just get my things set up here. There we go. Okay, 将棋の時間です。 Playing 10-minute games as always. Okay, going second. Kakumichi o akete. Oh, not too bad. I mean, that was an exciting thing that just happened. Complicated times in general, but on the whole, it's been pretty good. Okay.
Katami no gaku.
Let's see. The music you're hearing is stuff I've composed over the past couple of weeks.
Minu gaku.
Hmm, これからどうするんでしょう、アキラさんは。銀を飛車道に入れるとまずいでしょう。だって銀を失うだけがオチなんですね。
叩きの歩。
よし。This is Shogi. It is very similar to chess, but it's Japanese and it behaves a little bit differently. For one thing, one of the big differences is when you capture your opponent's pieces, you get to use them again. For example, now I have 2 kaku. Kaku behaves a lot like a bishop.
さすが
Or,
の腕前じゃのう
well, in this case, Akira-san just resigned, which is understandable because that was... that just handed me a whole lot of pieces. Let's see how close I am to get into moving up to Nanakyu. 29%. Not terrible. Also, all your pieces promote.
対局剣士
When you get to these 3, those 3 ranks, the last 3 ranks, your pieces promote. And the way they promote when you're playing this over the board is you just flip them over. Other thing is, you can't castle the way you do in chess. So everything is a lot slower in that regard. The pieces don't quite move the same way. Also known as Yoku, and is this piece that just got moved by my opponent, Fox Ponat. Well, it is in chess how you get your king out of the center so that they're less of a target for attack. Okay, oh wait, it is my move. The thing is, in chess, you can do it with a single move. In Shogi, it takes 3 or 4 moves. That was not a great move by my opponent. Okay. One of the nice things about Shogi is if you have played chess at all, you can play at a higher level than you really have any right to play, given your experience at Shogi. Because the tactics are often very similar. I do have to watch out for my time, though. A common experience. I didn't either when I played as a kid. Okay, that's a freebie. Okay. Kinda don't mind that. Okay. Here we go. Oh shit, I could have taken that. Okay. This is already looking a little bit better. Well, except for that, I just kind of blundered a piece there. That wasn't great.
2分
There we go.
いい戦いを勝ち抜いた戦士の顔じゃのう
I was kind of worried there because I was running out of time, but see, one of the things you really have to watch out for is that you can win just by putting a captured piece in at the right place and time. You can just win immediately. And so you have to actually have your setup around your king so that you actually have some way to actually take the piece that is used to attack your king. Where are we here? Oh, up to 31. Okay, a third of the way towards moving up a queue. Face orange biting nails. Never faced an orange biting nail.
お前が先手だ
Okay, going first. じゃあ、各道。Okay. One thing I've been experimenting is a certain amount of ambiguity with this piece in the middle. Because there are two common setups. One is to put it straight in the middle here, and then try to just plow down the center file here. And the other is to put it one file further to the left. And opponents will tend to plan things based on which approach they think you're going to take. So, I'm trying to leave it more or less open so I can let my opponent set up one way, and then I can set up the other way. It is fun. I've liked it ever since I first learned the game, which was, my host father in Japan taught me a very long time ago. And then I didn't really play it for a really long time. Ah, yes, I can do that, can't I? I just really didn't have a lot of opportunities to play with anyone. I didn't really have anyone to play with for a while. So I'm sort of just getting back into it. Yeah.
see, thing about these sorts of exchanges in shogi, unlike chess, is that now it's actually more complicated, because that kaku, that piece, you can see it at the bottom of the board. See, don't feel like that was a great move, to be honest. Oh, that was definitely not a great move on my part, though. That was really an ungreat move. Say, I achieved nothing except to lose a piece. And while you do not win just by gaining material, losing it really does not help much either. Bigu sandoku, sandoku. Ah, これからどうすんだ? Let's see. This is definitely an excellent time. Oh well, I can just take that. And my biggest concern has gone out the window, I suppose, for the most part. Not an ideal setup, but not made in one at least.
Let's see if we can manage to remove a defender from the king here. Ah, shit. Oh, wait. I don't think that actually works. Yeah, that doesn't. I can take back still. Yeah, that's fine. I'll take that. I shouldn't have taken that. That was... See, that's what I was talking about, because my opponent actually still had a kin waiting for that exact moment, and I went and screwed up. Okay, but it's still not a bad day, Shogi-wise. Okay, I get to go first. Ja, Kakumichi... Kakuho?
go.細密をブロッキュー。Apparently, Saimitsuo is having a long think. Shoukou中と言っているという。それも理解できなくはないんだね。That was not what I was trying to do. Baka. That was a misclick, damn it. Oh, that on the other hand wasn't too bad. Okay. 竜を理解したんだけど、これからどうすればいいのかちょっと迷ってまんね。Doing reasonably well on time here. 時間的には悪くないんですね。7分半だからでもさ、それもちょっと絶対にいい手とは言えないですね。
7分。
くそ。 Okay, yeah. This is why you really have to watch out for that setup, because I did not have any way I could take that kin, either of those two kin that get dropped in there. Because I went and moved the pieces that were around my yoku, カコヘを動かしちゃったから、玉を守ってる駒はなくなってましたね。だから負けたんです。それは私の負けの原因それになってるのはしょっちゅうですね。負ける原因となってるのは有次回19球 Okay. This is not somebody who has been playing on here very much. This does not necessarily mean that they're not any good at it. But we shall see. Ah, よし。ただの銀。さあ。What I need to make sure is not possible is any kind of stacking of pieces that aren't mine around my king.
this nice open file for my hisha, which is this piece that's on the second rank here, practically in the corner, but not. And that is kind of like a rook. So the name is often translated as rook, though these things are imprecise because rooks, one of the things they don't do is promote, and that is like one of the things that Hisha famously do. Oh shit. That wasn't great. Maybe they won't notice. Please don't notice. It would be really nice if you didn't notice. They didn't notice. Thank you. What do you do? 角、まあ、王手になるんですね。でも桂に取られちゃうんです。だからまず桂をパクっちゃって、だからそんなことを許さなかったんですね。19級だから油断はある程度許されるでしょうね。でも将棋ウォーズで19だからって
7分。
Hey, Badger, how you doing? Ah, くそくそくそくそくそ、これはおしまいかな。
Use
Yes. Damn. But on the other hand, I mean, it is well timed. It is time for a little bio break. And in the meantime, if you didn't see the link for my book that is coming out on the 13th of January, some of you will be getting a complimentary copy, so certainly in your case there's no need to order it. But if you're not, and you would like to, well, advertise for it as well, I mean, let people know it's kind of a big thing. She's been, Kalantai's been dead for a fair while, and yet there's a new book by her coming out, because for like 100 years translators just kind of forgot that it was there. Okay, quick bio break. Packing a few. Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
el hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Mordfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula giderim. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil, and that actually comes from Arabic. Fil, the same word fil as this, meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is skor, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, ça, ah c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça, sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco. Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux. Surtout Shogi en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique des langues. 10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nei. Nei. Man. Bien. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Parva, okay, Parvaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon. Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente... è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo. Io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io. I buy a computer or what? And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or. And I'm back. Let's see. Can I reverse this tendency towards a losing streak?
お前が先手だ。
ああ、センティメーター。スラキアです。21球ですか。それならできなくはないですね。でも玉の守りはちょっと強調した方がいいですね。
形見の額。美濃囲い。
See, part of my goal here has been to create a bit of confusion about where I'm actually going with my hisha. Oh, sorry to hear that. That sounds quite awful.
分
Okay, I've promoted both of my major pieces. Hey, River Rune! おはようございます。ロイス法師。さん、発音は、うっかり間違えたことは十分にありえますけど、一生懸命頑張って、正しく発音しようといたしました。おう、バカバ。そんなただ飛車だ、をあげてしまった。初めての方ですか。ではお越しいただいてありがとうございます。どちらの方でしょうか。くそ、ウィンドが見えなくなったんです。ご視聴いただいてありがとうございます。あんまり目にも下手な指し方をしてますから、ちょっと恥じりますけれどもでもついさっきまでは勝ち同士でした。これでちょっと工具をその敬語を変えてみれば、
イス王子でその書き方ではアフリカンス語みたいな気もしましたから、どう発音すればいいのかちょっと戸惑いましたね。We are living in exhausting times in general, I think. Just as a general matter, these are times of exhaustion. Oh, これで比較交換ができました。当て字的な形ですか。そうですか。それで辻褄は合いますね。ローイというのはアフリカンス語では赤いという意味ですから、その時のどかしたろうか。じゃあ囲いはちょっとボロボロになってしまっていますね。まずはその玉頭の風をは住んでて、赤髪で配信してるのでマッチして、しまいましたね。そうですね。南アフリカでは大人気なお茶の種類がありますね。ロイボス。それはロイというのは赤のことで、赤い色のことで、ボスというのはヤブのことですね。つまり赤ヤブ茶という意味になりますから。 や
3分
直接被者が狙われていますから、まずそれをなんとかしないとね。時間切れがちがの見込みはあります。Okay, I may manage to, at the very least, flag my opponent, if nothing else. 玉の囲いはもうそれほどボロってないし。
2分30秒
時間切れがち。将棋ウォーズの使い方はまだ知り始めていますので、友達チャットとかはできますか？将棋ウォーズではチェス .com というチェスサイトでは立ち入れとかチャットなどはありますけれども、ここではそんな機能はないみたいかと思ってしまいましたから、これまでは友達対局はしてないという意味です。でもこれからは動画リアクションの時間に移りますのでお楽しみください。 OK、 音楽を消して OK, and it's time to switch gears and maybe look at a couple of videos for the last little while. Aww, that is adorable. It is a robot and a little goat. Okay, switching over. Ah, 登録していただいて光栄です。Okay. Now, there was a channel I wanted to just commend everybody's attention. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if you're already familiar with it. If you're doing anything to do with learning Japanese, this is a channel you may have seen already. But if you haven't, you should. Because Kaname Naito-san does some really great videos just explaining important concepts in Japanese that a lot of time do not really get well explained in standard course material, and that are often very challenging for people to explain and to translate as well. And I have to say, Kaname-sanの英訳ぶりも本当に信じられないほどいいです。プロの翻訳者であっても別に不思議はないくらいです。I mean, he does a really good job of actually translating and explicating these things, and his example sentences, which is something that I've talked about a few times on the stream. He does interesting example sentences. So I thought we might look at one of his videos. I'm going to drop the link in chat.
and show why this is a really good channel for somebody who is learning, like but beginners, and I would say people who are intermediate, and even if you've been doing it for a while, you'll probably learn something new from the experience. And at the very least, I mean, it's interesting, and I find entertaining as well. He does it's a good channel. I'm gonna drop the link in chat for anyone who's not familiar. Let me get all this tracker crap off of here. They do like a tracker over at Google. But there you go. That's the video we're about to look at. And wait, I need to put my chat widget where I can actually see it while full screening. That will take just a moment. Hyper chat widget. Yeah, exactly. The more interesting, the more memorable, the more it is somehow connected to things you actually care about or think about. Anything like that is always good. And his example sentences are always good. This is one about the very, very important kanji and word hen, which generally is translated as like strange or weird, but it means like change as well. But it has just a huge range of meaning, and really understanding how it works is really key to understanding Japanese and to speaking it well, because it's used in all sorts of situations where we would not say strange or weird.
So I'm going to talk about 変。今、私の声は変です。
Yeah, like, I mean, see, first of all, he just does a great job with this. Good font. It's a very easy to read font if you're not used to reading it. He puts the kanji in and he adds furigana on top. So if you are not familiar with any of the kanji, you will have absolutely no trouble reading it as long as you know hiragana and katakana. 今私の声は変です. My voice sounds strange right now. Very good, good translation. This isn't the hardest. This isn't the hardest to translate thing he has used as an example sentence by a long shot, but I mean, it's quality translation. It is idiomatic, which is important. I think that good idiomatic translations are a big part of how I really kind of refined my Japanese, and I mean, also just as a translator have been very helpful.
変 means weird, strange, or something isn't right. なんか喉のところが変な感じがする。なんか喉がイガイガする。変 is an interesting word. It originally means change, but as time goes by, in Japanese, it started to be used as strange or weird.
Yeah, and overall, it tends to mean these things in a bad way. Like, for example, if something isn't working, like let's say you're having some sort of a bug in your computer or something, or some device you're using is not working, or something just seems wrong, you could say, なんか変だな。なんか変じゃないか? Yeah, like, yeah, something's off. Does something feel off to you? That kind of thing. It's generally not like weird in a neutral or good way. It's generally weird in a sense that something's kind of messed up.
When you feel something or some part of your body is not right, you say something が変 or something が変な感じする。俺なんか今喉がずっと変な感じする。
Yeah, I mean, and he speaks very clearly too. I mean, this is a pretty natural speed he's speaking at, but he doesn't swallow anything. なんか今喉がずっと変な感じする。Kanji is feeling when it's written the way it's written on the screen right now. That is, of course, the thing about
Japanese words of Chinese origin is there are a million different ways to write them. Kanji can also be written in kanji to mean kanji, which is a sentence that actually does make sense if you know.
もう1週間ぐらい変な感じがするとか、あれなんか関節が変な感じがするな、あれなんかパソコンが変だ、カクカクする。
Yeah, see, I mean, he does. This is also really good because these are all very nice. He gives a wide range of examples here. It can mean all of these things. And kakukakusuru. Like, I mean, one of the things you really have to work with in Japanese a lot of the time is onomatopoeia, because they're everywhere. Kakukakusuru is an onomatopoeia. It means to, like, stutter or stammer, sort of be jerky, and it kind of sounds jerky.
今日はどうなされたんですか？いやですね、なんか頭が変なんです。変ってどんな風に変なんですか？
Yeah, I mean, again, and atama ga henda. You could say, if you say that about somebody, it can often suggest that possibly all is not right with their thought processes. Head is strange in that sense.
いやーなんかね、頭が悪くなったように感じてるんです。あ、それなら大丈夫ですよ。もともとです。
Yeah, see what I mean? That is a memorable dialogue there. You would remember that easier than a lot of the sort of standard textbook bullshit.
Can be used to modify noun. 変な人 means a person who is not ordinary or not right. あれ、そこに変な人がいるんだけど、あの人誰？え、変な人？どれどれ？ああの人近所の木村さんだよ。
I mean,
あの人、人の家の前をうろちょろして人の家を覗くのが好きなんだって。
yeah, I mean, you just learn a lot. You've got a lot of vocabulary that shows up here, and they're just in terms of structures here. I mean, just look at this sentence here. 人の家の前をうろちょろして人の家を覗くのが好きなんだって. And the translation here, they say he likes hanging around in front of people's houses and peeking inside. All quite correct. Very correct translation. But you can look at this and you look back at that and okay, 人の家, people's houses. の前, in front of. うろちょろする. Urochoro is like to hang around and sort of loiter around with no particular apparent purpose in mind. 人の家を覗く, you know, to look, to sort of peek at, possibly surreptitiously, のが好きなんだって. のが好きなんだ, which just indicates that this is a thing that somebody likes. But you add te at the end, and it means this is a thing that people are saying, that somebody anyway is saying. 人の家の前をうろちょろして、人の家のを覗くのが好きなんだって. Mean, and this is all explicated in here. You can learn quite a lot just by looking at the translations of about these example sentences and the translations, I would say.
別に変な人じゃないよ。いやいや、十分変な人でしょ。One thing you should note is that 変な人 and 変人 are different. そこに変な人がいる and そこに変人がいる。
In the Japanese dubs of X-Files, if you'll remember, if anyone watches X-Files or watched X-Files when it was running, the nickname that Mulder, the guy who's into the paranormal and UFO shit, was often called pejoratively is Spooky Mulder. And in the Japanese version, he was called Henjin Moruda. Moruda is Mulder. Henjin, spooky. I'm very curious now how he's going to distinguish between Hennashito and Henjin. I would say the distinction has to do with, like, 変な人 is somebody could be somebody who shouldn't be there for some reason. Somebody whose presence is not expected and possibly not necessarily a good thing. 変人 suggests there is something strange about them.
They are different.
Would be my
変な
guess.
人 is a person who is not right. Something about that person feels off, or simply a weird person. The meaning of 変な人 can be very broad. Meanwhile, 変人 is more specific. It refers to an abnormal person, someone with very strange habits or behavior, or even a pervert. ねえ、あなたこの前自分のお姉さんのことを変人って言ってたわよね。
Yeah, I mean, again, there is so much. Like, you could like do an entire video just explaining all the cool grammatical and lexical things going on in this sentence. あなたこの前自分のお姉さんのことを変人って言ったわよね。Yeah. Oh god, English forever. Yeah, we haven't looked at Kevin in a little bit. I wonder what they're getting on.
あれ、どうしてなの？いやね、うちの姉急に一人で話し出すんだよ。この前、誰と話してるのって聞いたら、死んだおじいちゃんと話してるって。本当に急にだよ。なんかお姉ちゃん頭おかしくなったのかなって。ああ、そんなこと。いやいや、あなたのお姉ちゃん全然変人じゃないわよ。と。
蹴りの変人ということで十分にできますね。
だって私だって見えるもん。あなたの後ろにいるよ。え
I mean, and he even puts the fucking musical sting in there. You gotta love that. Like, I mean, I watch these sometimes just because I enjoy the little dialogues he's made up. And the quality of the translation, as a translator, I appreciate good translation. Like, and Japanese is challenging to translate. Just because, I mean, to translate to English. It's not as challenging to translate to, like, Korean, for example. In fact, that's, like, the only language I can think of where it would not be a huge challenge to translate it. There probably are others. But Japanese to English translation, Japanese to Indo-European translation is always challenging. And so watching people who have done it well is something I just really appreciate.
変 reflects the
Was that Jerry Adams?
Japanese spiritual view. In ordinary times, when there's no hen, life flows smoothly. But when one comes into contact with some form of defilement, curse, or spiritual impurity, derailment happens, and you move farther away from normal everyday life. When Japanese people use the word hen, as in 何か変だ, they often feel like something ominous might be happening.
Yes.
In traditional Japanese culture, people believe that bad things happen because you came into contact with some kind of impurity or curse. If you don't purify it,
A very
bad things will keep happening.
Which, I mean, is not exactly an uncommon set of beliefs, actually, really.
And eventually, you will fall into something very dark and scary. We call that kind of impurity or curse 汚れ tatari 呪い
I mean, again, the bonus vocabulary in this.
It's something that people never want to touch. 内藤旅館へ
内藤旅館
ようこそいらっしゃいました。さあさあお上がりください。先に温泉にお入りになられますか？
I mean, this is like the first time I've actually seen something where I would
actually differ with him on a translation. I mean, yes, you could translate this as to take a bath first, but you're specifically saying onsen. If you go to the trouble of saying onsen, which is like a hot spring bath, a hot spring resort, which is a big thing in Japan. Very lots of them all over the place, and lots of scary stories and things, horror stories and things built around onsen as well. That I've seen. I would say, like, would you like to bathe in our hot springs first, or something like that? Just a nitpick. I mean, it's nice to actually have a translation that is so quality that it's something like this that comes out. Yeah, I mean, I get the impression sometimes, what if this country is, like, built on an indigenous burial ground or something like that? Because, I mean, there's all sorts of fucked up shit constantly happening. I mean, it's like that movie Poltergeist, but it's like a whole fucking country.
あ、いやいや、先に荷物を部屋に置いてからにします。まあまあ、そう言わずに、荷物は私どもでお部屋に入れておきますので、先にお風呂に入られてはいかがでしょうか。
Yeah, I mean, again, like, there is so much you could actually just spend time talking about. I mean, if I were, like, teaching classes, 内藤さんには、失礼ですけど、でも内藤さんの例文だけで、授業は、できますよね。授業を行うことは。Yeah, Poltergeist Nation. Because there's so much in every one of these sentences. You could really just build an entire class around explaining the stuff in these that he does not actually, because for every example sentence that is related to the thing he's actually talking about in the video, there are like 10 things in each of these that he's not talking about specifically, but that the sentence is kind of perfect for.
あ、そうですか。じゃあ僕先にお風呂に入ろうかな。どうぞどうぞお入りください。
Yeah, and he does the voices.
さんはどうなさいますか？
Like, I mean, just like the quality, the production values, the pageantry.
私は後で入ります。あ、そうでございますか。お風呂はあちらでございます。食事は6時からですので、お時間になりましたら、あちらの読みの前へお越しください。
読みの前。
それではごゆっくりどうぞ。
Yeah, I mean, and there's so much that you could just unpack linguistically in there. I mean, like, ごゆっくりどうぞ or どうぞごゆっくり is a phrase you will hear like in like a restaurant or hospitality context in Japanese all the time. And literally it is an honorific plus yukkuri, which is like slow or unhurried, and dozo, which is a polite way of inviting somebody to help themselves to something or other. Though it is also used in like radio communications. We would in English say come in. But in Japanese you say dozo. But anyway, and he says, please enjoy your stay, which is a very good translation of it, and it is a thing that you cannot actually translate literally. And I mean, just like the quality of these translations, I mean, if he's not spent nearly as long around English as he has been around Japanese, it is really remarkable how well he's translated this stuff.
ねえ、この旅館なんか変じゃない？え、そう？なんかすごく優しそうなおばあちゃんだったじゃん。え、そうかな。私なんか変な感じするんだけど、なんか胸騒ぎって ていうか
Munasawagi, like, okay, I mean, like, there, that is a really, he translates this as a bad feeling. Literally, it means, like, agitation in your chest.
いや考えすぎだって。まあじゃあ俺先にお風呂入ってくるからね。そうだといいけど。
Yeah, like, I mean, this, for example, accurate translation, totally accurate translation, literally it means, if that is the case, it is good, but... And this, like, this phrasing, this formulation, is a way of expressing a wish that you don't necessarily think is going to be fulfilled. Like, I mean, you don't say, あなたが正しいことを願っています, which would be sort of like a literal way of saying it. You just say, そうだといいけど. そうだと、そうだ, it is so. と, if, good, it is good if it is so. But, like, I mean, really, really well done.
じゃあ俺行ってくるね。
Something did crash in the hallway earlier, but it was the cat knocking stuff down. Well, okay, well, that's cats. Okay. Like, these are just so good for the translations and the example sentences.
In this video,
I'll look
I'm
at
going
another
to...
one, why not? This is ka is not for questions only. And again, I mean, this is really, in terms of pointing out linguistic features of the Japanese language that you really need to, that nobody really teaches you, but that you do need to understand if you're going to, if you're really trying to get beyond really basic Japanese. These are really important, and he explains them well. My channel was not subscribed to this one. I'd subscribe now. Cool. Okay. Let's see just how many different linguistic features, other than what he's talking about, which is the usage of ka, are going to come up in these amazing example sentences.
To talk about the sentence ending particle ka. Many people get confused about this particle because they have learned that this particle is used to ask question, like...
Yeah. And this is a very good point to note, that a great deal of the confusion that people experience with Japanese when they're as Japanese learners is not so much to do with the Japanese as it is to do with the way things are explained to them. Like what we learn, the way that you're first introduced to ka is as question particle, which is not wrong. It is basically that, but it expresses more than just a question. And you can ask a question without it.
Like, あなたは日本人ですか? トイレはどこですか? But in real life, many Japanese people very frequently, they use this particle when they are not asking question. So,
yeah, I mean, often it's sort of a rhetorical question, or you're actually really not, you're indirectly denying, stating the opposite of the thing you're saying. Like, for example, let's say you are in court over something, and you know, your lawyer is not doing a very good job of it, and seems to be fucking up the case. In Japanese, you could say, これでも弁護士か? Which literally somebody would translate this as, despite this, you are a lawyer? But literally what you're saying is, I mean, it is actually a fairly aggressive thing to say, and it means like, wow, like, you suck, you should be disbarred, sort of thing. It indicates that you're saying this person is completely incompetent in their chosen profession, but it is expressed kind of interrogatively. Are you a lawyer despite this being like their performance today? But it's not really being used as a question.
So what is the function of this ka when you're not asking question? So that's what I'm going to talk about in this video. One of the uses of this particle is to show that you understood something. When people said something, when you learned some truth or new information, when you want to carry this kind of vibe, oh, I see.
Yes.
You put ka at the end of the sentence. For example, you are in an abandoned building. You
I mean, see, how many textbooks do you get where where it's like Hiroki and Tsutomu are in an abandoned building? You don't get sentences where you don't get like dialogues where the context is you're in an abandoned building. With Naito-san, you get sentences where the context is you're in an abandoned building.
heard some weird noise. あれ今なんか音しなかった？ああ、猫だと思うよ。さっき猫いたし。
Yeah, I mean, see, again, Saki nekuitashi. Okay. That she, you can, I mean, that she is actually related, you often see this described in textbooks, this particle she at the end of that sentence, as meaning, like, and, in addition to. But here, what's happening is, I think it was a cat. I saw a cat just now, Saki nekai, which actually literally is just, there was a cat just not long ago, but then she kind of relates that thing back, like, this is part of, like, this last thing I said is part of, this thing I just said is part of why I think the thing that I just asserted.
あ、なんだ、猫か。Here by saying 猫か。This ka put emphasis that now I understand it. I see it's a cat. Okay, I see. That's the vibe this ka has.
Yeah, like, you're expressing a certain amount of surprise and, like, oh, okay.
If you don't put ka here, neko, then it sounds like you are not understanding it or you are not believing what you have just heard. Neko じゃない? Neko? If I said,
Yeah, like, wait, there are cats? The concept of a cat is a thing that exists.
Neko, it sounds like I don't trust you. Neko? 私は今の猫じゃないと思うけどな。So to show that, oh, I get it, I understand it, people use this ka at the end of the sentence.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very important usage. And what I love is I feel like if I start to go in beyond on other things that Ka does, I am almost certain it will turn out he's actually done them. Because his stuff is actually really comprehensive for how short it is.
猫か。なるほどね。And this ka has one other function. When you say ka, it sounds like you are speaking to yourself.
Yes. I mean, in Korean, you could translate this form as, like, kuna. Ah, 고양이구나. Like, somebody has said that there is a cat. This is surprising new and unknown information, but sounds legit. Ah, 고양이구나.
It sounds like I'm not directly casting this sentence at you. Neko ka. You know, when I said neko ka, I'm looking around here. I'm not looking directly at you because when people say nantoka ka, they're just repeating the phrase to ponder.
Yes.
Oh, I see, I see. When I say I see, I'm not gazing at you. Oh, I see. It's kind of weird, right? When you say, "Oh, I see, I see, I see, I see," it has this vibe. Oh, I think
Yeah.
this sentence to you. Okay, now I understand.
I would love to just, I'd like to do it just like a collab and talk with them about the translation of this. Because, there are a few people on YouTube who I've seen whose translations, who do like content related to the Japanese language, and whose translations of example sentences are just remarkably good. And, like, for example, I would say, like, his translations here are... I sometimes with my mother will watch, like, Japanese Netflix series, and we will watch it with English subs. Then, since otherwise she would not understand it. And I have to nitpick the shit out of the translations because they're just not very good. They leave out important bits, or they, like, really mistranslate things sometimes. These translations he's doing here are definitely better in quality than the translations, the English subs on, like, there's a show on Netflix now, Chosen Home, called, I think, Boku Tachinchi in Japanese, which literally means, like, our place, which I like better than Chosen Home, to be honest. It's a better vibe. I mean, definitely, or Romantics Anonymous, Tokume no Koibito. His translations here are better in quality than that, than the subtitles
right?
on that.
That's the feeling this car has. ああ、猫か。すいません、梅田に行きたいんですけど、どちらの路線に乗ればいいですか？ああ、梅田だったら御堂筋線に乗れば行けますよ。あ、御堂筋線ですか。あ、わかりました。ありがとうございます。
Yeah, you're not, and this is an important thing to note. Not always just because of the way you're, for saying it yourself, but understanding the interaction, because somebody who's saying that is not necessarily asking you for further confirmation. They're indicating that they've taken it on board.
Here, 御堂筋線ですか。By repeating the phrase, I put emphasis that I understood it.
Now I'm kind of curious, what system is this? Osaka desu ka? See, there we go. I mean, there's that. Okay, I decided I've never heard any of these, like, railway lines, Midousuji, so I wanted to look it up. And I look it up, and it immediately comes up as Osaka. So my reaction then is, Osaka desu ka? Like, because I am taking on board that it is Osaka, which I had not realized.
Okay, I see. That's the feeling this car carries. 山田さん、今からラーメン食べに行きませんか？ラーメンですか。Here, when I said,
Yeah, you're not not seeking any kind of confirmation there.
ラーメンですか, it sounds like I'm pondering about this issue. When I said
Well,
ramen,
yeah, and he translates it correctly, given that, which is what I really, really appreciate about the way about these translations. They are idiomatic. They're idiomatic translations, and to me, one of the most important ways of getting out of the habit of being very literal about, like, expressing things in Japanese literally the way that you would express them in English or whatever. One of the ways to break out of that is to look at good idiomatic translations, because you start to get a sense of equivalencies. You start to see that, ramen desu ka? And, ramen, yeah, are kind of roughly equivalent things, even though, not, like, trying to do it literally.
ramen desu ka, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm not willing to go eat ramen. I'm just pondering. It's possible I would say, ラーメンですか? いいですね。行きましょう. Or I could have said, ラーメンですか? いや、昨日もラーメン食べたばかり。
Like, I mean, for example, he uses iya so many times in these dialogues, and it's almost never translated as no, which is the only translation you usually will see in textbooks. But it's used in so many ways, in so many situations where it is not negating, where it's like, ラーメンですか？いやー、昨日もラーメン食べたばかりなんですよ。今日はちょっと別なところに行きたいです。Like that, yeah, I mean, that is kind of, no, I mean, you are sort of negating in this particular case, but you wouldn't necessarily make it a hard, like, no, sort of thing.
なんですよ。
I mean, and you have, like, things like this, なんですよ。食べたばかりなんですよ。The nan here indicates you're saying this is an explanation for why you're feeling the way you do about a proposal to get ramen. You know, it's almost like offering excuses, offering a justification, except not in an explicit way. And in English, we would not necessarily add anything in particular.
今日はちょっと別なところに行きたいです。That's also possible.
Yeah.
So in short,
Or, I mean, you could say, like, 別なところへ行ったら
this car is used when you get the new information. So when someone asked you to go eat ramen, after hearing this information, you ponder, oh, ramen, huh? Do I want to go to eat ramen? Let me think. Here I might say, ramen desu ka. That's the function of ka here. 斉藤さん、この前新しい自転車欲しいって言ってましたよね。僕、新しいの
Okay, I have to move the challenge. 斉藤さん、この前新しい自転車欲しいって。I mean, and the other thing is that this is very idiomatic Japanese too. Like, because in spoken Japanese, a lot of particles often disappear if everybody kind of knows what they, you know, doesn't, if they don't provide additional information. 新しい自転車欲しい. I mean, you know, you would get dinged probably by most like prescriptivist Japanese teachers because it should be ga hoshi, but people don't say it that way a lot of the time. People often will leave that out because everybody knows it's ga. What else is it going to be? You know. Boku. I mean, there we go again. Boku 新しいのに乗り換えるので。僕新しいのに乗り換える so that he leaves that out too, because in speech you often do, even though it's not strictly correct. Like, very
乗
well
り換え
done.
るので古いのを売ろうと思ってたんですけど、斉藤さん買いませんか？いくらですか？本当は5万円で売ろうと思ってたんですけど、斉藤さんなので3万でどうですか？3万ですか。Here when I said 3万ですか,
Yeah, I mean, and the length of that cup can vary, and that tells you a little bit about the reaction too.
I'm pondering about this price.
Yeah, like the longer the ka is, you could say, the more uncertainty. Like, the shorter it is, the more you're just taking new information on board. But if you say, like, 3万ですか, it's like, this is a thing that I have to think about a little. The longer ka, as opposed to, 3万ですか. That's more just you're taking the information on board. 3万ですか。それならその自転車の別に古くないんですよね。だから3万ってさっき4万で新品売れてたんじゃなかったのか。3万ってな。じゃあ買おう。You know, the long ka indicates the degree to which this is a thing you're thinking about to a certain extent, as opposed to just like which suggests
Afterward,
maybe you
I
just took it on
might
board.
say, 3万ですか。安いですね。じゃあ買います。Or it could be 3万ですか。ちょっと高いですね。もうちょっと安くしてもらえませんか？
Or I mean, in Osaka, 負けと負けといてもらえまへんか。
Both cases are possible. ねえ今レンタカー予約してるんだけど、K でいいでしょ？ K か。俺 SUV がいいな。SUV か。でも SUV だったら1日1万3000円かかるよ。1万3000円か。ちょっと高いな。
Yeah. And there the long cut indicates hesitancy. Like you think about it for a second and it's like, yeah, no.
でしょ？ねえレンタカーにお金かけるよりさ、食事とかそういうものにお金かけよう。せっかくの旅行だし、私美味しいもの食べたいな。
Ah, like this is beautiful. せっかくの旅行だし. Like first of all, you've got, I mean, just the number of things you could say about this. I mean, it's a good translation. We don't go travel that often. That is not a bad translation. Like sekkaku indicates it's like we're going all this way. Like this is we're going out of our way for this. Like you can just say you can use sekkaku on its own a lot of the time. Like if you say if you say something, the place is like you travel from one end of the country to the other to see a thing, and you're 2 minutes late and they're closing up, then you might say, せっかくここまで来たし, like to indicate this is a thing that has involved a significant displacement on your part. So, like maybe special consideration is warranted kind of thing. せっかくの旅行. Like there's nothing that specifically says that this is a thing that it does not happen that often, but in this context, you would use せっかく.
あ、そっか、わかった。じゃあ K でいいよ。So by the way, what is this そっか? そっか is
Yeah.
casual form of そうか. そうか is used when someone said something and I said, okay, I understood it. Or I see. That's the function of そうか.
Yeah, I mean, a very good point. I mean, it's like there's so much stuff. So this is, I mean, Kanami Naito-san, his channel is one I absolutely recommend. I mean, from a teaching standpoint, there's just so much stuff you could do with every one of these. I mean, he could just take the example sentences that he uses and create lesson plans around explaining every single thing about them. Because there's so many things that you can learn from them. It's just excellent stuff.
When you talk politely, you can say, そうですか。社長、今、木村さんから電話があって、木村さんの子供熱出したみたいで、今病院に連れて行くから、ちょっと遅れるって言ってました。あ、そうですか。わかりました。When people talk casually, they very often say, そっか instead of そうか。あ、もしもし。ねえ、今夜、
What the hell is he talking into there?
暇？今夜焼肉食べに行かない？
Yeah. 今夜暇? Like, there we go. There's another example right there. 今夜暇? Like, there's so much stuff that is just being omitted there. This is a very casual sentence. And you get a real... And the thing is, this would not be, like, prescriptively correct. And yet, this is definitely the way that people talk a lot of the time. And because he gives all sorts of different speech registers in his examples, you get... it helps give you a feel for the different ways that can work out in terms of omissions and stuff. And I mean, for like explicating grammatical concepts and stuff. I mean, there's so much you can do with this. 食べに行かない？
ああ、ごめん。今夜同僚と飲み会に行くんだよね。ああ、そっか。わかったよ。じゃあまた今度ね。ねえ、達也、聞いて。私実は結婚することになったの。
Yeah, like, to tell the truth, I'm marrying someone. Yeah, accurate translation, there's 結婚することになったの is something you can talk about. Because になった, you take ことになった takes this and makes this like the thing that precedes it like something that has happened. Not necessarily indicating that it is what you were actually aiming for, but it is the thing that's going on now. It sort of distances yourself from the thing. お前のピザ食べることになったよ。Like, it has somehow happened that I ate your pizza. Like, it almost wasn't me being involved in the thing. It's sort of, it is a thing that happened. It involved me eating your pizza. Not that it's somehow, like, but, you know, it's just a thing that it became this. ピザ、お前のピザ食べることになった。
え？嘘だろ？いや、本当なの。
See, I mean, there is an example of a rare thing that I would really totally differ on. Is 嘘だろ? I mean, like, that is an accurate, like, literally that is what that means. You know, it's a lie, right? But 嘘だろ? It's like, no way! That can't be. You're expressing shock and surprise and stuff. You wouldn't say in English, it's a lie, right? But in Japanese, you do.
嘘だろ？いや、本当なの。だからごめん。私たち別れよう。お前マジで言ってんの？あ、ごめん。今の冗談。だって今日エイプリルフールでしょ？あー、なんだ。あ、冗談か。よかった。
Yeah, I mean, another usage of the long ka, which he also notes in the writing, which is, I mean, God, I really can't say enough good things about this channel. Beautiful, but there's so much you can do with every one of these, other than what he's already doing. But I just noticed the time, and it's time to wrap up. Thank you to everyone who joined in. ご視聴いただいて誠に光栄です。I will be back tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a good night, good rest of your evening, good rest of your weekend if I don't see you again. And if you are new to the channel, let me just drop you the link to join the Discord so we can keep in touch in between streams and stuff.